suddenly had this feeling that everything was connected. We're all part of it. Are we ready for it?
If I had a nickel for every time that a dangerous man made young Natalie Portman more dangerous... Wait, how many nickels would I have? I was going to say 2, but... No, actually, I mean... V for Vendetta stars Hugo Weaving and Natalie Portman as the origin of why Anonymous and all of those douchey groups use this mask, and a young woman who gets caught up in the mysterious schemes of this terrorist in this dystopian adaptation of an Alan Moore graphic novel. Basically, he's like if the Phantom of the Opera was into politics instead of music, or if Batman was so down for murder but had a name like Vicarious Evangeline. He's basically just super comic booky dystopian Guy Fawkes, and he's also very aware that that's exactly what he is as a character. It's like if you had this dazzling, swashbuckling hero who was later just revealed to be the Unabomber. For a comic book written by one of the great brand of American men who seem vaguely problematic, and then adapted for the screen by the also very American Wachowskis, this is a very British film, I've got to say. It's weird. It's got this great cast of British men all of a certain age. You know, it's got Stephen Ray, and it's got John Hurt, and it's got Stephen Fry, and it's got Rupert Graves and Eddie Marsan. Like, just a who's who of men of that kind of vague middle age bordering on old age, kind of that region, and it's awesome. And also it's got these uniquely British moments, like when they say on the news that the terrorist is believed to be dead, and then the little girl watching on the sofa just kind of goes bollocks and walks out. That's great. And there is just stuff like that I really enjoy about it, being very British, even though they brought in Natalie Portman when Keira Knightley auditioned for the role and is basically Natalie Portman but British. It's not important. So, Evie Hammond gets caught up with this terrorist, kidnapped by him, sort of, and then she runs away from him dressed like she's a doll in a music box, and finds out Stephen Fry is gay and cheeky. They're just testing how unsurprising a big revelation in a film can be. And then she gets captured, and her head gets shaved, and she experiences basically the most fucked up thing you could do to somebody while believing you're helping them, that they somehow then don't hold a grudge against you for it. That's fine. But you know what? This film is great for some way. Like, it's kind of bad in terms of, like, that's all toxic male, just weirdness over here. But it's good as in, yeah, it is true that you can just learn a thimbleful more about the world and decide that terrorism might be a viable option. That's basically what it's saying, and only gets relevant more and more as the decades go by since this was released. Now, my favorite film of all time is The Princess Bride, so I might be biased here, okay? I'll admit that. But I really think that Hugo Weaving kind of went, how do I make my character swashbuckling and devastatingly sexy and devilish? Just copy Wesley. He had it down. Yeah, and that's really what it feels like with the voice at times that he's putting on. It has that element of yeah to it. Anyway, it's not important. It is just a good like swashbuckling take on a dystopian character. It feels like such an odd mix, and it is. This is taking inspiration from a lot of things, and it produces something that is very odd. And I don't know if they like fully capture the kind of essence of the graphic novel here, but I mean, I guess that goes for a lot of things, and I love a lot of elements of this as much as I do think that it's not that it's inspiring bad behavior in people, but it is kind of saying like, well, as long as you believe that what you're fighting for is just, you can pretty much do anything you want, you know, as long as you think their behavior is worse than whatever you're doing, not a problem. But then again, every film can be misinterpreted. Every single one. It is so clearly written by a man. You know, like, oh, what a man's dream to be like, yeah, I tortured her, imprisoned her, shaved her head, all in the name of indoctrination. And additionally, I'm atrociously deformed and I love lecturing to her about old movies all the time. But she still loves me. Does she? Yeah. Does she go to a different school? Is that why we haven't met her? Like, it's such a... You're just left going, no. She can understand why he did it without completely ignoring the fact that he did it. Okay. Doesn't doesn't matter. Anyway, so yes, there are problems with this film. There are problems I have with this whole concept. It's just very Alan Moore-ish. I think if you study his works and stuff he's written more and more, you just realize more and more that he's, got a weird thing about women. Anyway, but there are also great messages here, the whole tagline of government shouldn't scare people, or people shouldn't be afraid of government should fear its people. That is just really powerful. That's a really good message. And it feels like such an important message for people to be getting today. The scenes with John Hurt lecturing angrily from this big screen feel like they're as close to a 1984 film adaptation that we're ever going to get. Apart from the film adaptation of 1984 that came out in 1984 that also starred John Hurt. There's a lot here that is really good. I think his backstory, some of it is kind of very interesting and intriguing and well explained, and some of it is a little head scratching, but I guess that's to be expected with any graphic novel, really. And wow, young Natalie Portman, she just couldn't get a normal guy. Between this dude, Anakin Skywalker, like, that's just, it's the kind of film that gives lonely dudes hope. That if they just learn how to use knives and eat like just one volume of the encyclopedia, that they're gonna be able to get a beautiful woman. Yeah, that's not right. It isn't an all-time favorite for me as a film, but it has an exhilarating nature and it's definitely rewatchable. Over 20 years later, any film that feels only more relevant with graphics and a script that hold up and great acting that definitely stands the test of time. You gotta applaud any film that manages to do all of that, okay? And I do think that it's interesting to rewatch and realize they probably wouldn't make this film today. Honestly. Yeah. I think we've reached that stage where they just wouldn't now. And that's scary. But yeah. A lot of the villains are fine, but they're kind of just, just such basic, like, fascist politician kind of villain guys, just generically angry all the time. It just feels like you see a lot of those kind of villains on the news. What did you say? So it's not. I didn't say it. It's not important. So I do think it's incredibly impressive, the acting, more than anything else. I mean, Hugo Weaving, man has got like the 4 pillars of why he's beloved by nerds. He's got this, Red Skull, Elrond. He voiced Megatron. And then he's also done Agent Smith in The Matrix. Like, that's just nuts. And that's only the, like, super nerdy side of his career. I mean, talk about someone being a mega nerd. Natalie Portman. With her Oscar over here, her rom-coms over here, Marvel and Star Wars juggling around, like, insane careers, both of them, and they are both so good in this. I can never really just have a simple opinion on this film, because I do find these, like, ideologies, some good, some not so good in there. And I do feel like, I kind of think they took this phenomenal source material. I could joke about Alan Moore, but it is an incredible graphic novel. And they made a good film. A very good film. But not like an incredible film. Nothing, like, it feels at times like they're just plodding through the story of it, with the pacing being fine, never great. And it is quite long. And there's good, it is a good screenplay. And it does have, it looks good. Apart from the acting, nothing stands out as, like, amazing to me, So, overall, solid, very good. Nice to rewatch it for the first time in a while and see how relevant it feels. But not like a true classic or anything. Probably the best Alan Moore adaptation, but that's not a strong category. Anyway, I'm giving Voluntary Vehicle for Violent Vivisection of Venerated Veterans 4 stars. Every Thursday we do throwbacks and the channel members choose them and you never know what it's going to be. It gets weird. I've had some weird ones, yeah. So subscribe and just decimate the like button or something and get a channel membership if you want to vote for what it is next Thursday.